Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into episode 20 of the CozCast. Now, this is a really, really special episode for us. I believe it's like 95% of podcasters don't make it to episode 20. We have hit that goal and we're very, very, very proud of how far we've come. We appreciate all the viewers, all the guests that have come on. Now, we did have something planned for this, but I'd done a podcast yesterday with Bombbox and we were sort of talking about me being on a podcast, and he gave me a great idea. We've decided that for episode 20, Harry, the man behind all the podcasts, all my editing, will actually interview me, and this will be CozNey on the CozCast. So I hope you enjoy. It's going to be very different being interviewed rather than being the interviewer. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoy the show, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for allowing us to get to this 20th episode. How we doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good, man. Good.
First off, switch places. Guests on the right.
Are we doing that, are we?
Yeah, we're doing that.
Okay.
Welcome,
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be
your own
here.
show.
Thank you.
So, look, you always start these episodes asking guests kind of, where did it all begin? So, no different. Where did it all begin for you?
It all began on TikTok. I don't know if anyone knows of Richard Sales, who done a lot of funny videos. I used to watch him a lot, and I kind of looked at him as an average guy, and I thought, if he can make videos, I can make videos. So I started making TikTok videos, and then he was live one night. I was watching him and sat there thinking, how do you just go live? Like how can I just do it? Like what do I do? And yeah, I was just watching him one night and I just thought, let's just try it. So I just went live. I didn't have a community. I didn't have anything. I just went live and started a TikTok following from there and just started going live, talking to people and started taking it quite seriously. So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I used to live in a caravan. Internet was atrocious. I lived on site where my old business was, and I had an office. I actually have a video of my whole streaming setup in a shipping container. And I was in there, and I started streaming there and meeting people and started going live with other people, making entertainment, and one thing after another, it just started. We started doing game shows. We started meeting new people, doing funny people. And the one thing that got me going on TikTok was because I used to own a skip company. We had a police officer's hat come out of a skip. I still have that hat to this day. And my brain is always on overdrive, thinking of ideas, thinking to be better, to be different. It's really, really tiring. And all of a sudden, just see this hat and I'm like, plonk, we're going to pretend to be a police officer. I put on this shitty high-vis vest and the first guy I go live with is a taxi driver who is driving down the road. And it was like fate. I bollocked him and he shit his pants. I told him to pull over. I told him that we were coming to arrest him. And I said, you are going to end your live immediately or I'll shut down your account. Ended the live. My next guest, I went back in with him. I was going off my editing because he was still live and stuff like that. And then that was the thing that got me going. And I was like, this is brilliant. Go on TikTok and pretend to be a police officer.
Yeah.
But don't. I got to the first time I was pretending to be a police officer and I was like, right, this is actually going to go somewhere. I cannot be arrested for impersonating a police officer. So we never ever stated that I was a police officer. I was part of the cyber team. The only thing that would actually incriminate me was my badge said Metropolitan Police on the hat. But anyone ever questioned it, I would say they were wrong and that they can't read. And my screen was always inverted as well. So on a technicality, you couldn't actually read what it said because it was inverted. It was reading backwards.
Yep.
So yeah, we done that, and I got up to the views of like 2,000-3,000 a lot of nights on TikTok. But I loved gaming, absolutely loved gaming. So my internet in this container was atrocious. I just thought, TikTok was great, but this is not what I want to do. I want to stream games. So I bought this atrocious little laptop. I had my Xbox, I linked it all up, and I just started playing Call of Duty in a shipping container. It just went from there. Call of Duty was never the thing. I had loads of really lovely people from TikTok that would pop over and help me, but Call of Duty was not the thing. And this was a really, really long journey. I then managed to buy my own house, and so I moved out of the caravan, good internet, bought a computer. Actually, no, tell a lie, I was still streaming on my Xbox in my house.
Right.
And I was streaming my Xbox, and my creator dashboard was on my laptop, so it was all just Call of Duty and Fortnite and stuff like that. And then I think when I had my computer, I had to ring a friend to set it all up for me. I didn't have a clue. I think no, it wasn't Jay. And I ended up falling into Rust. Because when you go from an Xbox to a computer, it's mind blowing what games are out there. I got into Rust, I was playing that a lot, and this guy I come across done role play. He was like, "Oh, you should try this," and it was the most bizarre thing ever. Like when you first do role play, you're like, "Well, who are these weirdos pretending to be gangsters?" I mean, I know I'm a terror in role play now, but I used to be really, really bad. I used to be atrocious, and it just stemmed from there, and we just kept going between TikTok and Twitch and stuff like that. It's just, who doesn't want to make money out of playing video games?
Yeah, of course. You mentioned a few things there. We'll come back to some of those in a bit. Your TikTok police character, how did you come about the kind of the character that you were playing on there? Like, what was his name? Where did the inspiration come from?
He was, I don't, it was just from the hat. And the community, we called him Officer, what did we call, he was called Peter Charles Dribble, Officer Dribble. And we printed out fake identification cards, but his name was PC Dribble, which was Peter Charles, not Police Constable, which was another thing to throw people off. You can't say you're a PC online. My name's Peter Charles. So everything was really clever of how we got around things and stuff like that. And the more and more it done, I bought a vest and stuff like that, and I would meet other big creators. Tom Jones Wales, who I'm still really, really good friends with, was a guy that used to go live all the time. I'm sure most people listening will know Tom Jones Wales. He's a very good entertainer. He knows the score, so we would go live, and he would know exactly what I was doing. Most people on TikTok would be like trying to expose you as some weirdo that's pretending to be a cop. When you're dealing with professionals, they know what's going on. I used to go live with him a lot. Used to be really funny. And then there was Ruby the Scooby, was a content creator based around his Subaru Impreza. We used to go live a lot, and he used to go to car meets and stuff like that. And we worked really, really well together because he had the antisocial car scene. I had the officer that's trying to ruin his day. And we would go online and we would rip into each other. We ended up meeting up and filming videos day after day after day. And one of our most sex. Whoa, that was good for views. One of our most successful videos went worldwide, and we ended up on the front page of a online car magazine in Germany.
Wow.
Every time this video is posted, it gets millions of views. We've posted it many times. It went mental. The shit thing was, a lot of content was on his page, and he blew up. And it was very hard to get the viewers to me because they were backing they were backing the antisocial car scene, which was nothing against him because we were working together. It was lovely to see, but we would go 50-50 on videos. My videos would never go because I was the enemy. And I'm really sorry, but most people on TikTok haven't got a brain cell. We would make videos that I impounded his car, and they would believe it.
I was going to say, you probably got, I mean, just by the nature of it, right? You've probably got a lot of drama coming along with playing that character, right?
It got, so this is the thing now, like me going, what can I do? What am I good at? What can I do for content? I could go live now dressed as a police officer and hit thousands. I can do that. But do I really want to be known? And do I really want to get myself out there by having thousands of people hurl abuse at me all night? You can be tough-skinned, and then there's not enjoying yourself. And I stopped doing it because you would get death threats, you would get DMs, you would get people looking into your life just to expose that you're not an officer.
Yeah, it's like there's been a major sense of humour fail, isn't there?
That major. I actually had this one woman. I didn't do this intentionally. I had this one woman break down in tears on. So people were. There's something on TikTok, or whether this is in the human brain. People have to be proved right. Now, I would always test things. If I never ever admitted that it was a joke, thousands of people would stay. Now, to cover my ass at the end, I would say, thank you for tuning in, guys. I'm not a police officer. I'm not impersonating. We're having a laugh. This is a show. I would literally go from 1,000 to 500 in seconds. Now, this one woman one time was going mental for 3 hours. 3 hours. Get me in. My dad's a police officer, blah, blah, blah. I got her in the live. My blood was always boiling towards the end of my streams. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining for people because at the end of it, when I said the show's over, I would go to town on whoever was abusing me. And this woman, I went to town like, I'm not a police officer. I'm not pretending. I've never said blah, 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 blah. And she was saying how much it triggered her and stuff like this. And in the end, she started crying her eyes out and she was like, I'm really sorry. I just didn't see the joke. How can you not see it? Like, people on TikTok they see if you see it on TikTok, it's real in their eyes. And if it's not real, they have to stay and prove it. It's such a bizarre environment.
Yeah, it's really strange. You touched earlier on kind of getting into RP and finding it a bit bizarre to start with. What was that like? Like, I'm assuming that, we've known each other for a couple of years now, but I'm assuming you're not from an acting background.
No, not at all. I my first ever proper server was roleplay.co.uk, and I used to roll around on my own, and then Casual came into the scene. Now, me and Casual don't get along anymore, but he will tell you himself, we had great times together, and we were the ultimate duo. And we would terrorize everyone. We were glorified trolls, because we didn't understand roleplay. Right. We would be kidnapped by these unreal role players that were gangsters. I mean, they were phenomenal. But this is why I respect people that come new into roleplay now, because at the time, me and my community were like, these guys are taking this way too seriously. Like, these guys need to go and touch grass. Like, this is a game. This guy's there pretending to be some Irish gangster, threatening to kill me. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is weird. But winding them up was really fun and entertaining. And we were doing that, and we were getting a lot of warnings. We were getting educated a lot. And it ended up with like, now you got to go. Because we all know what I'm like, and I know what I'm like. I bend the rules. It's not necessarily I break them, but I bend them a lot. And I know that I get on the verge of snapping, and it's very fine lines. And I think that's what's very frustrating as me as a role player. I'm very awkward to deal with. It's just part of my brain. It just, how can we do things differently? Yeah, push it. I don't mean to, but I like to do things differently. At the end of the day, we're doing a show.
Yeah.
What can you do different that hasn't been done in an environment that is absolutely oversaturated with unreal role players? Is it even possible to do something different here? Let's fucking try it.
And a lot of, we've seen it a lot recently as well, but a lot of your role play now is not what I would call selfish role play, is it? It's role play that is inclusive for others. It gives others opportunity to role play and get a piece of the action. What you do, you're very thoughtful about other people in the scene.
I try and involve as many people as possible. I try and pull people in, and I look at whether you're a streamer or not. I can notice where this story will take you, and it will build this huge web of events rather than keeping it to yourself and winning. Let's bring more and more people in, more people that can affect the story and make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it gets bigger and I end up losing and I kick off because it's my own fault yet again. But yeah, I'm really, yeah, I try and hand it out a lot. And I'd say it bites me in the ass a lot, but I think I just try and prolong things as long as possible rather than end it. And
yeah.
9 times out of 10, because I don't end it myself, the ending comes to me.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Cozney King is the king of elves, isn't
he? Yeah, sadly, yeah. Whether I'm involved with it or not, yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you had some early RP servers, and no doubt you'd have developed characters through that. But I think when we met, you had Inside, and it'd be a fail if we had you on this CozCast and not mention Inside and what that meant to you, and all of the fun and shit that came with it. So what made you go into the world of having your own server?
So I'll admit I get banned a lot. I get banned a lot purely because I terrorize things. I just don't know when to stop. I'm like that with everything. I just don't know when to stop. I know that about myself. But a lot of servers, if not 95% of servers, favor big streamers, and the admin teams fuck around. And a lot of servers, the admin teams are very power hungry. I'm no different to anyone else. I think we all go into any video game and we want the game to be how our mind perceives it. We have this image of how it's going to be. Now, Call of Duty, it's either you shoot someone, you win, you lose. You only expect to win in Call of Duty. Roleplay is so different because anything can happen. But when you go in and you have a plan, your thought process is on that plan. And I forgot the fucking question.
You were talking about the process of why you decided to start up Inside.
That's another thing about me. I have a really awful memory. Sorry, yeah. So I just got fed up. I got fed up of going to all these places. Admins doing this. Admins having power. I got fed up with bans or warnings that just didn't make sense. So we made Inside. We knew nothing about developing. We knew zero. I was just sick. I thought, fuck it, let's give it a go, and we did, and it was a horrendous journey. The first developer was pretending to be someone really famous. So our first developer, the credentials behind him were unreal.
Yeah.
And it was too good to be true. But this guy was role playing as a developer. It was the weirdest thing I've ever had in my life. He was in calls with us all the time. He knew loads of any question we asked, he answered it. As we started developing, he started struggling and he was bringing in files that were leaked and stuff like this. And he never wanted any money. It was really, really strange. So we ended up finding out who the real person was, but we still couldn't prove it. So there was like 3 or 4 of us up really late, and we were just like, we DM'd him like, oh, by the way, haven't seen you tonight. Can you come back to developing tomorrow? So that it was like, if it was him, we weren't suspicious.
Yep.
He's like, I know nothing about 5M. We were like, cool. We need to tell you something. We're getting a call. Like this guy was called Lewin Vetteretti or something. He's been behind unreal games. Like the developing skills of this guy are phenomenal. So we ended up in a call with this guy to say, someone's pretending to be you. And the police got involved and stuff like that. Yeah. And then we had a second developer who was charging a lot of money. Done fuck all. He was role playing most of the time rather than developing, and we fucked him off. And it was, yeah. And then we just, the whole basis around the server, we had a good time. We had a great time. The only massive pool in there was myself, and it was just really hard. And I think with 5M, like I say, everyone wants the server to be their way, including myself, including the staff team. Every player wants it to be their way. And a lot of people, if it's not their way, you'll know about it. It just got far too much. Staying up till 6 a.m, arguing in tickets and stuff like that. It was far too much. It was a long journey. We done it, but it's not fun.
No, of course not. And you know, you've spoken about that on your streams, that you know, it's not something that you think you'll go back to. But in terms of, I think because I joined in when Inside was still about, and I think one of the things that has come out of it, even though the server doesn't exist anymore, is that there is a huge community that are very loyal to the Inside brand, if you like, and the people that played it. And even though they've now kind of dispersed, they still kind of like pop past and say hello and pop in, don't they? And
yeah,
there's something that brings people together still, isn't there?
There's a lot of people that will, which I'm very, very glad to hear. A lot of people will still say that's the best server they've ever been in. A lot of people want it back, but it's too much, far too much.
Yeah,
we done a good job. We done a good job with the numbers we had. We had a great time. You just couldn't keep up, and the stress behind it was just not worth it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Obviously, once Inside kind of closed, it was a big shift, wasn't it, for you personally, and a couple of others into NoPixel. You know, that's got to be a dream server for a role player, right?
I never expected to be there. I never ever thought I would get into that server. Every role player, I believe, dreams about going to NoPixel. You're always scared that they're not accepting applications. There's always a lot of people have a rumor that you can't apply.
Right.
You can, but you have to pay. So a lot of people were always confused that you couldn't apply. And I was like, do you know what? We're going to go to it now. Big O, who I will have to say, it doesn't really fucking matter now. Big O helped massively with my application for that, to get me in, and we got accepted. You were the big dogs then. Do you know what I mean? You are with the big fish. Running around with people that are massive. You don't even know who they are, and it's nuts. In that environment, I can't explain it. It's, I suppose in football terms, it's like being in the Premier League. Like you've made it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
And
just,
it's a different type of RP from like your standard server, isn't it?
yeah, it's very, very different. It's very American based, so it's really, really hard to blend in.
Mm.
Really hard to with the barriers from UK to America. It's very hard to get your humor across, and it's tough to be entertaining in there and blend well with the big Americans because their humor to us is weird, ours is weird to them, and you kind of clash.
Yeah, totally. And like you're a bit. I think it's fair to say you're a big fan of like Lord K and what he does.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, what was there? There was a particular scene where you were bundled up north into a cabin. What was it like when he kind of walked in? Like why's his name gone?
It's just I had who did I have? I think many people that have watched me will know. I would say I will agree. I make some of my own bad luck. When I don't, and I'm just potting about chilling, I end up in the worst situations known to man. That I have the worst luck ever. So for anyone that doesn't know, I persuaded a police officer to give me a lift back to my car in Sandy. This entire time, Mr. K was in the boot to assassinate a captain in NoPixel. I didn't have a clue. I'm there, and he pops out, bang. And the clip got 5,000 views on Twitch, which is crazy. And I ended up talking about it to someone and getting stitched up. So I'm kidnapped by the likes of Mr. K, Tommy T is there, Zerka, Dust Monkey, and massive streamers I don't even know. Like I'm being taken by the biggest and the best in NoPixel, and you're just like Jesus Christ, and you would come across so many people in there that are humongous, and at the start, it's really, really overwhelming. Like a lot of people will know the Angry Ginge. I'm slating Manchester. 250 people were in NoPixel.
Yeah.
I talk about Manchester, and up and behold, Angry Ginge walks past me. The odds in the fucking universe of that happening are zero, but it happened.
Not for you.
Not for me, no. And it ends up a whole massive story of Angry Ginge, and you're like, great, I've pissed off the biggest streamer in the UK. Great. And yeah, that went from there. There was so much that happened in NoPixel, so much.
Yeah. And you know, obviously you had the Ginge Raid and what that was like, which you know is probably the quietest I've ever seen you.
I've said on podcasts before, like Ginge is a very humble guy. He's a normal bloke doing extremely well. So I mean, you can kind of talk about him as a nice guy, but at the same time, he's very successful, and he's earned a lot of respect, and the numbers that he has are crazy. So yeah, he raided me with. It went well during the scene. It went from 1,000 people giving me abuse. Like I had 1,000 people going to town on me. You're banned. You're banned. I didn't know Ginge. I didn't know what he was like. And they're like, "You've upset Ginge." I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
And people after this went on for like half an hour. People were like, no, Ginge is telling everyone to stop. I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, in the end, he said, "No, we're raiding out to him because you guys have been arseholes to him." I think my jaw was down here, and I didn't speak for 5 minutes. Like, 5,300 people raided to you. Like, again, it's a dream come true because you'll always be that guy. I'll be that guy sat in a shipping container on one viewer. You never expect anything like that to happen.
No, and then I guess kind of the time in NoPixel, it came to a very early end.
Yeah.
It's fair to say you were nowhere near even getting started at the point it came in, and it was under some really sketchy circumstances. I think we can all admit that now.
Yeah.
that morning, as a mate watching you was emotional. What was going through your mind that morning?
So, again, for people that don't know, I had an ongoing joke with one of the head admins who was very well known for handing out prior randomly. And I was streaming 7 a.m., minimum 7 p.m. if I got into the second storm till 2 a.m. every day, because I believed I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm surrounded by the best. Go and prove that you deserve to be there. So I was doing ridiculous hours. I would wake up, I would join the queue, run to shop and get food and come back every day. And you wake up at 7 a.m. ready to go and you've got an email. You're permanently banned. And in NoPixel, that's no ifs, no buts. Your appeal's probably not going through and you cannot speak to anyone. You are done. So I'm my own boss who's been fired at 7 a.m. on a morning when you're ready for work. And there's hundreds of people waiting for you to turn up to work. And you have to tell them that you basically kind of no longer have a job.
Yeah.
And again, you're with the big fish, and out of your control, you're told you're done. It's not nice, because
No.
you're overwhelmed with what do we do, because there's no way out of it. You're not coming back. You've got to the big league. There is no better, or there was no better. Fuck. What do we do now?
And you've got. We'll come on to a couple of bits in a minute, but what it comes down to at the end of the day is this is your job. So you've got bills like everybody else that's watching this. You've got bills to pay. You've got commitments. You've got a life that you want to live right outside of this world, believe it or not, and that all comes at an expense. So to have that kind of ripped from under you for a joke must have been pretty heart-wrenching.
Yeah, because I didn't even do anything wrong. I made a little joke that was multiple times was laughed about. Even at the time was laughed about. There was some power trip, some ego. Why are you speaking to someone like this? Like, it's just a classic case of if your face fits, your face fits. I wasn't big enough. I wasn't cared for. I'm sorry, but these people sat in their bedrooms have no compassion to what a click of a button can do to someone's entire life. And there's many people, not just in NoPixel, but in many other servers, many other games, that someone can just go banned. You control my life.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. I think one of the good things that did come out at your time in NoPixel, and I think a lot of it came from that Ginge Raid though, was you gained a lot of followers from Ginge and other streamers, right? In that time, like they kind of came across and shared the love, and quite a few of them have stuck around, which is really nice, and kind of followed you ever since, haven't they?
I went from NoPixel to being up to averaging 150 to 200 viewers, big scenes, thousands. My time in NoPixel, I ended up on 10 viewers afterwards. So and I mean, I've had a lot of people that have been loyal for years. I don't blame them. I just wanted to play games for me. I wanted time to process. I was so upset. I was depressed. It was really, really bad.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play. I wanted to escape. I just didn't know what to do. So I was just playing survival games that I love to 10 loyal people for a long time. And even them 10 people, going from them numbers down to 10 is really tough.
Yeah, of course it is. On top of the experience that you'd gone through. What how much, because obviously role play, you're playing a character, you're in a scene, a show, a movie, whatever you want to call it. But it takes a lot, right? They're intense. Most of the scenes are intense. And everybody that watches you knows that you smash it in terms of hours.
Yeah.
So was it time for a break? You know, that kind of playing the survival game stuff mentally for you, was that I need to just step
I,
away from RP and do my own thing for a bit?
it's just that escape. I mean, step away from RP. You've been to NoPixel. Where do you go?
Yeah.
And yeah, survival games. I can play them for hours. That's just my escape. Sit there like a zombie and just zone out of real life. I mean, a lot of people play games to forget about the real world. I would say a massive percentage, and a lot of people agree. You play a game to not think and to get away from real life, and that's what especially, I mean, streamers, that's what we do. We make it our lives, but we all enjoy video games. So yeah, I just went down a rabbit hole of playing games. But you can't, in this line of work, you can't stop playing games. You can't go on holiday. You can't have a break. You've still got bills to pay.
Yeah. Talking about the community, and you know, we'll come on to time two in a little bit, but you've got a really good community of followers and viewers now. And you know, what's it like for someone that hates being in front of the camera, hence not being on it? What's it like having, you know, 100, 150 people watch you for like an 8-hour session of gaming?
You get used to it. You never. I mean, 100 viewers is good, but you get used to that number. So I suppose it becomes the norm. So you never ever take a minute and sit back and go, 100 people watch me. That's a massive. But I don't know about other streamers, but for myself, you look up to your Lord K sat on
Yeah.
20,000. You kind of sit there thinking, I'm nothing. Like 100 people's nothing, but in reality, 100 people's crazy. 100 people are sat there taking the time, and I normally average that, and then I can go above. Last week I was steadily on 500, and you never stop and think, this is a lot of people. This is
Yeah. And
a lot of
and you're
pressure.
entertaining them, right? Let's not,
Yeah,
you know, they're not there out of a sense of charity or anything like that. They're getting something out of this as well, which is
yeah,
the entertainment that you provide. And
yeah.
like you must enjoy that, right?
Yes, I enjoy it. Yeah, I enjoy it. I think we all know I do a lot of hours, a lot of unhealthy hours. So it can get very frustrating. But if you go on my TikTok, my bio is I'm just a kid with a dream. And I like to be live because the longer I'm live, not even I can make more money, I can get more followers, I can get another person to the community. The more I am live streaming, the more I am growing. But it's very tiring. It's kind of a backwards process that I'm kind of understanding. I think the term "work smarter, not harder" is a really good
Yeah.
thing to put into streaming that seems to have taken me 3 years to finally come to the realization about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not on the top of your game, you're not going to be entertaining people in the way that you can, able
Mm,
to, and what they love. And you know,
yeah,
it's a vicious circle, isn't it? So
yeah,
you got to make sure you're taking time out for you. And look, I mean, you've even got your own bunch of groupies now, haven't you? The Diths.
mm. We have the diffs, yeah. I, my community has labeled themselves the diffs, and they seem to be known in streams. They've changed their names, which is it's awesome. You build a community, and not only their community, they are known. Like, and they're known everywhere. Like, you go into big streamers and you see a diff, they're like, "You're one of the diffs from CozNey," and it's such a long story behind that, but it's so cool to have people like that. And they might think it's a laugh, but when you're watching my stream and you're like, we're building a little army and everyone's changing their name, like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
so cool.
It is funny. It is funny. Um, and then I guess look, you know, you're the streamer, but and this isn't like biased, this question at all, but there is a team behind you, right? This what you do doesn't happen solely with you, does it?
Not at all, no.
How important is that team to you?
You're baiting some good. Like I say to my community and like I say to my team, I can't be thankful enough. My team and my community honestly pushes me to work harder. My mod team is most, if not all of them. We don't really bring people in. They have stuck around for years. I've never received a penny. I've offered them 20 quid to buy a drink at Christmas once, and they said no. The stuff they do, it is unreal, and they are perfect. Like yourself, you edit everything for me for free. You edit all my podcasts. You edit all my gaming videos, and they're most of the time, if you can, they're done that night. Which a lot of people are like, his stuff's done quick, but it's because you. And then we have Bugaboo, who is in charge of everyone, who is everywhere doing everything at once and do this, do that. And there's many others that are always helping me, always advising me, and also giving me reality checks if I fuck up. They are not the people that will back me against. If I make a mistake,
Yeah.
I am told, you're being a twat. Sort it out now. And we'll argue, but they are right. And they will tell me every time.
Yeah. They
will always defend me, but if I'm in the wrong, they are the first to tell me because we're adults. Sort it out.
Yeah.
I can never repay them. They will never accept it. I have to try and make my success for myself and to them to know that they haven't wasted their time for nothing. So I'm very grateful and can't put it into words.
That wasn't a baited question either. It was just like, look, fundamentally, I'm pretty sure I'd speak for most of them.
Yeah.
If not all of them. Like, we're just a bunch of mates, right, that hang out in VCs and watch people game and play the odd games ourselves, right? And that's pretty much what it is. And if a few of us can help towards some of the others' successes, then why the hell wouldn't you do that, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I'll take a bit of a break from gaming, but it's kind of linked a little bit. This wasn't your first job, right? So to take the step into the world of gaming and do it full time is a big leap. Where were you before? What were you doing?
I actually owned a skip company. I owned a skip company for seven years. I won't go into it massively, but yeah, I had my own yard. I had trucks. I had staff, limited company, loads of stuff. Yeah, very well-known company in my area, and I went through something. I'm not man. I don't mind going deep, but I'm probably not man enough to discuss it on air. But I went through something really horrendous, and I was fucked for a long time. So my manager was running the show, and I didn't go to work. I stayed in bed a lot, and I'd literally pop down there, and I just wanted to go home. And one day I go in to help out, and my manager pops up to me and he goes, his exact words, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. I said, okay. He said, I'm leaving. And my exact response was, cool. So am I. Got all the boys in the office and said, we're done.
Wow.
So by the end of the month, the company will be closed down, sold everything. And I just, in my head, I thought, do you know what? I want to profit what my company did on my own. And it's a ridiculous number. I thought, fuck it. People have done it. People can do it. I thought, rather than run a company and like people look at me now and go, 18-hour stream, CozNey. You have no idea what running a business is like. I used to do 18 hours of manual labor.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people go, fuck now, CozNey's live again. 12 hours, you're a beast. This is nothing. Like this, it's hard, but go out there with a shovel and tell me you'll do 18 hours with a shovel. Like that's what I've done for years. That's hard work. and you're managing teams of guys running vehicles that are breaking down, and you get emails. Oh, by the way, you owe us £1,000. Oh, you owe us. You did your VAT bill. It's 10 grand, and horrendous.
Yeah.
And then you got your team not turning up, and so much stress. Yes, the money's great, but worth it? No. So yeah, I just said, you know what? I am going to work for myself, and I'm going to make as much money. So far, it's not going well.
It will come. It will come. I'm sure.
One day.
Yeah. It's interesting. You kind of touched on your headspace then, and you're not shy about advocating, particularly men's mental health, but mental health in general.
Yeah.
You're a big advocate for kind of talking about stuff and supporting people, and you kind of went even further and kind of ran a club as well, didn't you? So
yeah,
why is it so important to you because of what you went through? And that's not digging into what you went through.
I can talk about it.
Yeah.
I won't go into too much detail. I don't even know if people know this about me, and it opens you up to a lot of attack. I'm not too worried about it, but I've had severe mental health issues since I was 9 years old. To give you an insight, when we still don't really know, but when I was younger, I used to slice myself.
Wow.
I don't even know if you knew this.
No, I didn't know.
I used to, from the age of 9 years old, I used to cut myself. I used to cut my arms, my chest. Into secondary school, I used to cut my face. Don't know why.
Okay.
No idea why. And yeah, I've always had it. And it wasn't until I'm 31. It wasn't until I was 29 I admitted it. I got help. I still see a therapist every week.
Yeah.
I'm not too fussed to say it, but it's not something you bring up. But there is a huge stigma about seeing a therapist. But deep down, it's like going to the gym. If I told you I went to the gym 5 times a week, you'd go fair play. If I said I see a therapist five days a week, you'll go, you're a fucking weirdo. Like, but I see the same guy every week. I pop in there and have a chat. Sometimes we don't really talk about much. We just catch up because there's nothing to worry. If I'm having a shit week, we discuss it. I always have it there on standby because there was a time where probably saved my life.
Yeah.
So that's there on standby if I ever get in that position. I think we can all appreciate like mental health. You don't control it. You can do your best to help it, but it's horrendous. And deep down, I put on a very, very good face. Deep down, I really struggle. But coming on camera and admitting that, like, what does that do? Like, what does it do for anyone?
I mean, it opens up the conversation for starters, right? Not specifically about what you went through, but about the importance of talking about stuff to others. It doesn't need to be in this environment. It could be in any environment. I've suffered. You know, this isn't about me, but you know what I've been through. I've suffered. I see a therapist every week as well, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Right, it's important stuff because it helps, and I have no idea why this fucking stigma exists that people can't just open up and say this is how I'm feeling.
I think it's just weakness, isn't it? That we can't fight. And when I come on live, when you come live, there's a lot of people watching you with mental health issues, and you are there to take that pain away. Everyone has their own story. Everyone struggles. If you ever go to someone, I'm struggling, 9 times out of 10, they go, fuck, me too, brother. Me too.
Yeah.
We all are. So that, like, when I go live, there's no point me telling my story because I'm there to help you with yours. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, because of what I deal with and what I go through, I understand it a lot, and I like to help. yeah, you'll see me be on stream and you'll see me be mildly abusive and toxic, but there's a difference between retaliating to abuse and stuff and having banter. When shit gets real, I'm very, very different. People don't really see it. Like you say, I've done a lot for it, but it's not. You don't talk about. You don't talk about mental health. You don't talk about what you do to help it. You just do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the thing. Anybody that's going around, celebrating the fact that they support people with mental health, right? They're not in it for the right reasons. Like it's kind of the unspoken. You just, as you said, you just do it.
Yeah,
you're there when people need you to be there, or if you're able to be there as well, right? And that's what makes a big difference. But I think it's important that we know, obviously behind the scenes, we know what a big advocate of it you are.
I think I have to know the answer to everything. If you say, "Do you know how cheese is made?" I'll go, "No." Give me 3 hours. I'll tell you how it's done. I'll find out. When I admitted I had issues, I spent 2 years researching how the brain works myself. I was so bad. I wanted to understand why I was like that and how. I'm a lot better now understanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I spent ages. I would just this is when I was in my caravan. I'd just sit in my caravan, podcast after podcast. I would sign up to work courses and that, just to figuring out how a brain works, why people do what they do, and stuff like that, and where it stemmed from. And not only could I learn for myself, but I could assist other people. And it became very textbook. Like, you look at a trait in someone and you can go, I don't want to try and name something here. Let's say there's a trait in someone and you can go, "Oh, did your parents split up?" Yes, this is why. A lot of things can be very like a reasonable explanation sometimes for a lot of things that seem horrendous and so complex. Sometimes they're not at all.
Yeah,
there's good reasons that you just don't understand.
Yeah, of course. Do you know how cheese is made?
Yes. But I've forgotten.
That's right. It's fine. I was just trying to hide the mood a little bit.
Yeah. No, I remember we were watching it on stream not that long ago. We watched loads of videos of how cheese is made. I can tell you there's a cheese in, I think it's Italy, that is made by maggots eating it, and it's illegal. So yeah, I don't know. My brain works different, and it's inside it. It's hard work.
Yeah. I think most people have an element of that.
Yeah.
But there is another part to your brain we should tap into as well, or your psyche, should we call it? And that is your psychic medium. I don't want to call them powers. That feels like it's turning you into some sort of Marvel character, but influence or
spiritual gifts.
Spiritual gifts. There we go.
Yeah.
When did you discover that this?
So when I went through this, let's call it an episode 2 years ago, when I was extremely vulnerable and really bad, I had a lot of friends around me on TikTok and that, and I was watching a live stream of someone having a reading, and I remember it was over and they said, "Who's next?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on then, fuck it, why not?" This motherfucker read me to the T. Like, so is he paying my therapist? Like, what's going on here? And absolutely blew me away, because I thought this stuff was a load of shit. And more is like, I could tell stories forever. Really, really intense. And I started hanging around with a lot of psychic mediums and started learning and realizing the stuff I've done my whole life, I've always had it. I just didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And like anything, if I get excited, like when that was like the time when I was learning how the brain worked. So I'd done months of learning how the brain works, and then a whole other door opened about paranormal and stuff like that. So I was like, right, let's take what we know about the brain and let's jump into this. And I went full force. I ended up flying all the way to New York to learn and stuff like that, and to go ghost hunting in New York. And I realized that it's crazy, and I still can't explain it. The voice in the back of my head, I'm not nuts. I might seem it. You get voices in your back of the head that are other people.
Right.
And then when you get that, but it's in your voice a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Which is the very confusing part. So you get that, you're going batshit crazy. You need to be locked up. You start speaking to someone and saying, "Oh, by the way, your granddad Jim's here." How the fuck do you know my granddad was called Jim? He's been dead 20 years. I've never met you in my life. I don't know, but he's talking to me. Oh, this is bullshit. Well, your granddad Jim used to have his favourite armchair, didn't he? Yeah. Why is he showing me a shovel? Because he was a ground worker his whole life. Oh. And again, like this stuff I won't know. I don't know where it comes from. It's just here. Like the way I emphasize it is it's in the back of my head here.
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing. Like you say, powers in essence. Yes. Yeah, it is. It's not normal. It's fucking weird. But I have case studies is not the word. I don't know how you can do it. What would the word be? I have people I've worked with readings that can all back up like the stuff I've told them. No one would ever know. I would not know. I cannot find it out on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's really weird, mate. It's really weird. It's really scary. Where does it come from? What does it mean? I don't know. But there is a minimal element of truth to it. Regardless of what you believe, there is some truth to it. We just don't understand and we don't know. But you look at me, I'm not like all hippie-fied. I haven't got crystals hanging from my neck and incense sticks, and I'm not sage in my bedroom 24/7, and my hair's not purple. So you'd go, why is this guy talking about all this spooky shit? Like, what's going on? Because most people sort of blend into that sort of background, don't they, with all their crystals and shit like that.
Yeah, there's definitely a cliche, isn't there? But I mean,
yeah.
What's sort of becoming more obvious, I think, the more I see you do this, is that actually there's just maybe some sort of higher power, whatever that is, that has said you've got something that you can use as a gift.
I'm really good at reading people, and I keep it to myself, whether it's for the right or wrong reason, whether I can help you or whether I can understand what you are, what your intent is. But 9 times out of 10, I shut my mouth because I can't explain. Oh, by the way, I can read you, and I know what you're intending to do here.
Yeah.
I can't tell. So let's say someone's trying to be malicious towards me or someone else. I can see it a lot of times. I can't explain it because how do you know this? I can read you. Shut up, you freak. So yeah, that's tricky because you can often predict how things are going to go and how people are going to do it. It's really tough because you kind of just got to stand back and see things happen.
Yeah.
And it's not nice. It's not nice because you see the real person, you see behind whatever persona they make, and you see deep down who they are. It's weird, man. It's so weird. But I actually done so. What's funny is Bombbox, who gave me the great idea to do an episode on myself to celebrate. Because like I said, everyone loves talking about himself. Everyone loves sharing a story, so people understand you more.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it. I mean, I love it. It's being on the other side is a bit weird. Like, I'm the guy who asked the questions, but yeah, it's weird. It's something different. But yeah, he gave me the idea. But I gave him a reading once, and his episode that will show in 2 weeks after this one will actually surprisingly tell his story to back me up. And if you pop in, I'll give him a shout out right now, Bombbox. If you pop in his stream, he will tell you what happened, and he will hand on heart say, I wouldn't know, and it freaks him out to this day. And there's many. Beetle is another one. Furphy, I've done the same to him, and he will back me up. And there's many more. So
Yeah.
I don't want to look like a phony. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to look like how I always perceive people that do. It's like, shut up, you fucking con man, con woman. You're just exploiting people for cash. Never ever want to come across like
But you're
that.
not though. That's the hilarity
I'm
behind
not.
it.
No, I've never charged anyone for it because I want people to understand it's genuine. And at the end of the day, whatever you believe, if I can speak to a loved one that you have lost, then I will do my best. And if you believe it's the truth and it is the truth, that is life changing for you to miss and love someone, to have them come through with a message will change everything.
Yeah.
And if I can
And,
do that, and all it costs me is time, I will always do it.
and you mentioned a little while ago the like the paranormal hunts, the ghost hunts.
Yeah.
Is that an extension of the understanding of all of this stuff, or is that just a weird obsession with being scared the shit out of?
It doesn't actually scare me that much. I haven't. I have seen things in my own house that scare me more than any haunted place. So
I won't ask.
yeah, funny that. Yeah. But it's fucking true. I always say it to a lot, like, whatever I'm going to see here is nothing worse than what I've seen in my house. I do it just for more proof. At the end of the day, so when I went through understanding all this, I thought I was insane. My friend, I at the time I lost a lot of friends because I thought I was going mental. And I'm sure maybe a lot of people listening to this will go, this guy is cuckoo. When you have a lot of people persuading you you're going insane, you end up feeling you are insane. You think it's all, you think that you're making all this up. And it's really hard to understand. So I wanted more proof. So I started going on these ghosts. I started seeing stuff and I'm like, this doesn't help. Because you don't get a ghost come up to you, smack you in the mouth and go like, here I am.
Yeah.
You get knocks, you get messages, you get whistles. That's the frustrating thing with the paranormal. Your brain is still like, I haven't got a fucking sheet of facts here. This is down to my perception. And you can I've had spirit boxes say cozney. That's not going to be programmed in. That's not in the dictionary. I have tons and tons of stories. I've been scratched. I've been pushed. I've had loads, which is it's stuff like that where you go, right, we're dealing with something else here. And it's intense, yeah.
Where's out of all like the big paranormal locations, let's keep it to the UK. Where's the one you want to go but haven't been yet?
Well, to be fair, I've got Shepton Mallet in 2 weeks. That's a good one to go to. But the ones that I want to go to, I've done. I've done. Okay. I've done what is known as the worst in the UK because fuck it. If you want to see a ghost, go to the worst place. And one of them's the Rams Inn. And I've done 30 East Drive as well, which they actually made a movie over.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
There was a girl that was dragged down the stairs and they made a movie on it. I went there. I saw a girl get, I'd say, a minor possession in front of me on camera. I've got it recording. There was a guy on the lead on the floor, couldn't breathe. I have seen that from my own eyes. But as always, the video I have is of me reacting, not the background. So there's something in this paranormal fucking world. They have some rule book. Don't get caught on camera. It's ridiculous. Whatever happens, you never ever get footage of it. It will always be in the background, and you don't want to look like a phony, but you have to experience this stuff for yourself to believe it. I think that's the same as it. If I told you an alien pops around mine every night and drops around 3 cans of Stella, you'd never believe me. If I told you to come around, you saw it, you would. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like this, you have to see it to understand it. Yeah,
we all know it wouldn't only be 3 cans as well. So
it would be 4. He's drunk one on the way.
So bringing it back to, I guess, now, and I guess time 2. RP.
Mm.
You know, I think it's fair to say since the start you've been in and you've created some fairly big storylines
Yeah.
across both of your characters.
Yeah.
Actually, not just Cozney. What one's been your favourite so far?
Cozney King definitely, but there's a lot to lose and there's a lot to gain on that character. And I don't hang around with the clique. We all know that there is a big one in there, and they all, as a content creator, they sort of bounce off each other. Well, I don't. I kind of make my own story, and you blend in with them and stuff like that. So it's been tough, but that gives you a lot more pressure to try and make things entertaining. I try and do things differently. Like I say, you look at the likes of Mr. K, his YouTube videos. People will talk about his stories forever. I will never ever beat that guy, but I like to do a fucking good job.
Mm.
I understand that role play is a movie, and I will always say that. So I do a lot behind the scenes, and I suppose a lot of the time it will come across, oh, he's trying to outsmart people. He's trying to be the most clever. Yeah, I'll agree. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to do it for entertainment.
Mm.
Having people turn around and go, yeah, how did you pull that off? That's incredible. Like, yeah, like, please tell me. Like, it's lovely to get compliments. No one doesn't like that. But it's just trying to pull stuff off that's never been done and really unexpected. That's how you blow people away. And I think we've done that a few times.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say so.
but I go through extreme measures to try and get there.
Yeah, of course. On Cozney King, you know, he's got a way about him, and I think it's fair to say that there are some people that can't necessarily separate, and whether that's down to, you know, the name being the same as your kind of streaming brand name. You know, do you regret not coming up with a slightly different name, or are you?
I do, yes, but the name Cozney King was for advertisement purposes.
Yeah.
I come across so many phenomenal role players, could be streaming to X amount of people, and I never know.
Hmm.
So, again, reverting back to Bombbox, his name's Ramon. It took me ages to figure out he streamed. He's a fantastic role player. Took me ages. One thing I figured out from the start was call yourself by your stream name. If you want to find Cozney King in roleplay, go to Twitch and type in Cozney King. I will come straight up.
Yeah.
Do I regret it? Yes. But from an advertisement point of view, you want to find my character, you type the name in Twitch, I will come straight up. If I name myself Billy, you're going to really struggle.
Yeah.
The end. So yeah, I do regret it a bit because even some people, when they talk about the character, I can often take offense when that's not necessarily the case. So I do regret it a lot. But yeah, the advertisement purposes there, that name, that's your biggest key to who you and your character is your name.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, fuck it, make it the same thing, because at the end of the day, if you're role playing, especially as a streamer, you want people watching, the more the merrier. So that was the reason behind the name. Do I regret it? Yes and no.
That's fair. The and of course you got the firm. You know, they've taken a fairly few decent sized L's over the
Yeah.
last few months. Some of them, look, there's lots of reasons why the L's have come about. And that's not the intention of the question. I think the for me is you've got a very, or Cozney King has a very specific style of leadership, and it's not necessarily about immediate retaliation, and that frustrates a lot of people.
Yeah.
Would you ever get to a point of immediate retaliation, or do you think Cozney King will always be the long game?
Let it simmer. Let it simmer. Let's prolong this. I don't want to end it right now. So, no, I think if I feel forced into that position, but it's not who I am. It's not how I role play. I love storylines so much. I love the stuff that keeps you up all night. I love to be a part of it, whether I create it or not. That's the stuff I love. That's the stuff my community loves. So jumping the gun immediately to stuff, I don't like it personally. It doesn't mean no one else can, but yeah, I like the long game, and I like if someone disrespects you, automatically you'll go to a shootout. I want to do things differently. I want to mix it up, whether that means picking people off one by one, whether that means waiting 3 months until they forget. Anything, whether you put information anywhere, like, yeah, do it differently and try and make it so no one knows what your next move is.
Yeah.
Because let's use Moist as an example in time too. If you disrespect them, you know they're coming to you immediately. And many other gangs can be same. Other gangs are similar to myself. It's the long game. So yeah, I like to be different. I think different makes you stand out. It makes it more entertaining.
Fair. Well, look, you always ask any of the players or devs that we've had on about what are the hopes for the server. So it's only right that we ask you. What would you like to see happen in Time 2 in the future?
What would I like to see? Obviously storylines. Let's not be quick to the punch. Let's extend things. It makes content fun. Then you don't come to a stop still. So if something's going on, then draw it out, because your content is sorted then for a week. Your role play is sorted. If you get something done then and it's ended, it's done. You have to look elsewhere. So that's just down to the role players. Like I said at the start, we all want our own version of the game, but just because you want things your way doesn't mean it's right and doesn't mean it's best for everyone else.
Yeah.
I would just like to see more stories and a more general fear for life, which I brought up in the community meeting. But it's a tough one. It's a really, really hard environment, a really hard game to work around with so many people that want things so many different ways. But yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean you've got what 150, 160 people all working off their own script.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make your script work with theirs at the same time. That's impossible almost, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. Yeah, so someone has a story, whether it's running free flow or they've had some planning previously themselves. Your story interjects with theirs. It could get very jumbled, and that is the beauty of it. That's also the negative of it. Yeah, someone has this whole plan and it can change drastically very, very quickly.
Yep. And of course we've got Diffie. For anybody that doesn't know, and they might have been able to hazard a guess, how did the name come about?
So after the name's actually after Peter Dribble. So I used to role play as Peter Dribble dressed as the police officer. That's how so going back to the TikTok comment where I used to dress as a police officer on TikTok, I was like, right, let's take this to Twitch so I can carry on dressing out, and try and get away from the abuse and still entertain. So it used to be Peter Dribble, but it was a very, very silly vibe. So now Peter Diff is Peter Dribble, but we're in America, and after the Diffs, we named him Peter Diff. So after the community, but yeah, Peter Diff is actually Peter Charles Dribble, based on the character that I made IRL.
Yeah. And what's your hopes for P Diffie?
Keep having fun. Cozney King's very serious, and I don't laugh on it. P Diffie does, but he's not serious. Just keep having fun. Don't lose the job. Push your luck. Get bollockins and get punished. Just try not to lose the job. But again, I know I like to push boundaries. I think it's funny, and then we all know I'll kick and scream when it doesn't go my way, like any gamer. Yeah, the main I'm enjoying it, but then it's. I think we'll all agree the best form of entertainment can often be comedy, can't it? I think I think this goes back to a podcast. People like to laugh, but we also like the drama stuff. So it's nice to switch up and show a different side. And then P. Diffie's not win hungry. It's nice to show, especially as Cozney King, the character, and relating to the streamer. It's nice to be P. Diffie and be the complete opposite.
Yeah.
That's the idea with that character, is just have fun and try and allow criminals to be criminals and have fun to an extent. But we've all got to have fun, haven't we?
Totally. Any new characters going on in that head of yours, or do you not want to say?
I'd like to bring in a psychic medium character, but I think it's embarrassing that I play two characters with the same voice. This psychic medium character would have to have a different voice. I need to get on to learning voices. I just don't have the time or the energy. But yeah, I want to bring in either a psychic medium, maybe coming as a nutter, but not your general nutter who goes around killing people, but just someone a bit fruity. Chippy does Scaly Sam. He done it last night. Really, really good. I have to shout out Chippy as well. He come on the podcast, but I've been checking into Chippy recently, and he's in character behind the screen. Like, he's acting. Man's a legend. Like,
Yeah.
he's so good, so good. And I would just like, yeah, maybe bring in a bit of a nutter, like Chippy was talking to himself yesterday. Like, I think because of the hours I do, I don't drum up the courage to improve as much. Do you know what I mean? I should see some hours as practice. Yes, it's live, so it can be overwhelming, but let's make this character live. That's the hard thing. Let's maybe make this nutter who speaks to himself and try and make a story about you. Even when you're not role playing, you still carry on in this character, rather than if you're not around anyone, you just drive about.
Yeah.
Be this character. I think that's the thing I'd like to do. But it's getting the time.
Yeah, of course.
It's getting the time to do it, man.
And I think before we sort of head towards the close, I think it'd be amiss not to mention the amount of meta that sits within this server. Like the between the, you know, there are some known chat hoppers that seem to like to drum it up and spill the tea.
It's
like, what's that like for you?
I love role play. I love stories. I love assisting with other people's stories, not knowing it's me. But I also like showcasing to people what you've done. The other day, I done a drop of weapons to the Moist Boys straight away. That was Cozney. And you're just like, I've just given away fucking hours and hours worth of equipment, and you've just ruined it. But you'll never get. This is the thing with large viewers, mate. I think this is like a psychological trait. People want to be the first. People want to be right. People want to share information to feel important because they know the truth. Just shut up. just shut the fuck up. I don't like emote only chats. I know loads of streamers don't. Subscriber chats sometimes. Just enjoy the show, man. Like, we all streamers work incredibly hard. We're all extremely exhausted. And when we get something good, it's ruined. And whether you tell someone, no matter if they're the best role player in the world, in the back of their head, they're going to know the answer. Don't tell them. Enjoy them not knowing so you can laugh behind the screen. Or, yeah, man, it's really, really like, it zaps all energy out. You get this super fucking dopamine high, pulling something off, and then someone in your chat goes, "Oh, I just told him," or someone goes, "Oh, check out this .123 username. He's just told him everything you're doing." Wicked. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I'm going to bed. Like, yeah. Yeah, mate, it's really, really frustrating, but it's the game in it, mate. Like, what can you do?
Nature of the beast. Nature of the beast.
That's exactly it, mate.
So look, we're on the CozCast. This is episode 20.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
Well, as you can tell, I'm really tired today, so I'm not the most energetic. Really, really late night last night. But it's just awesome, man. It's just another goal in life that I've always dreamt of loads and loads of things. Situations I've ended up in, I've never expected to be there. I've always aimed for the top, but realistically never thought I would be there. So I set expectations really high, but I never expect to be there. Never expected to have a YouTube channel. As little as that. We've just hit a criteria on the gaming one, which obviously is thanks to yourself. 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch time. It's not a lot. It's just another goal off the list. I've spent years looking at people with YouTube plaques going, I'd love to have one of them, but never gone, I will get one of them. And I think my mindset is it switches between, I spent a lot of my life going, I'd love to have that. And I do change it to, no, I'm going to have that.
Yeah.
And like, just to touch on to like a little bit about myself, like, we all have our story, but I grew up with nothing. Everyone around me had better stuff, the better consoles, the better houses, the better bikes as a kid. I lived in the middle of nowhere, so all friends had friends nearby, and parents didn't like, can I have a McDonald's on the way home from something? No, we can't afford that. So I have this absolute like unreal drive to better myself. One thing about my short story that I like to share, I know it comes across as ego. Sometimes it can get carried away, but it's more confidence in myself. I want to be the best person I can be. And sadly, I want to be the best I can be at most things I do. Hence why I've done so much and I do so much. But normally I'll smash it for 6 months. I will hit something hard for 6 months, get to a level that I'm happy and stop. But anything that gets my attention, I won't stop until I get to where I want to be. When I get where I want to be, I'll just move on to something else. But deep down, I'm just an overachiever. Just trying to make my life better. And like going back to it, just a kid with a dream, mate. That's all I am.
Yep. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you've got to have something to aim for, and everybody will have different goals. But you know, it's personal to you, and it's important. So why not?
Yeah, it's very, very personal. I mean, I don't like other people having what I don't. Not in a jealous way, but if you've got something, I want it. I want it for me. I don't want to take it from you. I want to be at your level. Last night I went to a party and I'm in this barn that has been all done up. It is better than my fucking house. My house costs a lot of money. This barn is better. And I'm in this barn. It's got TVs, it's got a bar, it's got a snooker table, swimming pool outside, gym upstairs, spare bedroom. I'm like, I want this. I don't want to walk into someone's barn and go, wish I could have this. I'd rather tell myself, I will have this, just not yet. One day I will have that barn. And that's where I've always been. Someone has something. And that's again why I try and have the best of it. Like the joke in my stream, what graphics card you got? 4090. Because it's the best. I want the best. And it goes back to childhood. And this is things that you learn in therapy. As a kid, I didn't have the best. I had the worst. So now I work incredibly hard to make sure I have the best. Because that kid didn't. And yeah, if you've been through therapy and shit like that, you'll understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Where would you like to see the CozCast go?
This is what, so streaming now is my job. I will openly admit I really enjoy it, but a lot of love is zapped out because you sit there most of the time. You do look at your subs and stuff like that. Fuck, like this is a tough day. At the end of the stream, you do 18 hours, you get an email, you've earned £4 today, and you're like, CozCast makes me nothing. CozCast is just about building the channel and zapping information from people, getting to know the real person. Deep down, that's what I really, really enjoy. I just want to keep doing this, getting better guests on, getting people on that can insight me to make me better and the viewers. Every guest that's come on, I have not had one guest I haven't taken massive information from to better my, because of most streamers, but not just streaming, my life. There's, you take the time to figure out and you get juicy information and you're hanging around with like-minded people that have a lot of advice to share. So I think the goal for the CozCast is that 100k plaque. Crazy goal. We're on, I think we're on about 430 followers. I think now for the CozCast is, let's get that plaque. I'm sick of watching streamers with that plaque in the background. I want mine on the wall. Clip that and we'll showcase it when I get it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I want now. I want that plaque.
Well, viewers, it's over to you. Like, comment, share.
But I will say, like, this is the thing with social media. Growth can come out of nowhere. And we done a lot with the original crew from this. It was a group of friends that talk shit. I've been wanting to do a podcast for ages, and I know a lot of you were behind it, but Martin was the key. Martin's very to the point, isn't he? Get on with it, you fucking fanny. And I'll give him an excuse. No, I want a room. I want an office. I want 4K cameras. No, just get on with it. Saturday, we're doing it. I don't know how. I don't care. Cozney, you're doing it. If Martin and you guys hadn't said just get on with it, I wouldn't be doing this. And that's one thing that my downfall is. I don't just get on with a lot of stuff. So very, very thankful for you guys for starting it off. The whole idea was to bring guests on, and luckily we've got to that stage now, and it's going really, really well. The views are going back to the viewers on Twitch. We're hitting over 1,000 views most episodes. That's crazy, considering they're an hour, 2 hours. 1,000 people take the time to watch. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy this.
Nice. Well, look, this has been an experience for me. We all know how much I don't like being in the limelight, but
No, you don't. You don't.
I actually really enjoyed this. I
bet you found out things you didn't even know either.
Hell yes. But it's been. I've had fun, and I know it's been quite deep at times, and it's been quite insightful. But I think what people can take away from this is a better version of who you are, and not who they think you are from the streams, right?
I think that's the aim between every episode, and I say it all the time. Like, one-on-one, there's no bullshit. There's no persona, and I say not in a negative point, but whatever image you have on stream, whether you're real or not, one-on-one is raw. This is who I am. This is the story between the streamer, and you forget that it's being recorded.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it. You think you're having a conversation, and when it's over and on YouTube, you go, "Oh, I got carried away there." We said some things in here that I wouldn't normally say, but it's nice to get the story across, and that's what you're here to incite people. You're here for people to understand, and it's time to share your story. And that's the same for people that come on. Let people know they're listening for a reason.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, thank you for trusting me with the the interview.
No, it's a
And,
mix up, like we always do. This is different. Do you know what I mean? We've mixed this up. Who's your guest?
Totally.
Me.
Yeah, but no, I've really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Cheers, man.
I hope
Yeah.
everyone else does too.
Yeah, be interesting. Be really interesting. Mixing it up. I love it.
Nice one. All right,
Cheers,
pal.
man. See you.